Hi there, I'm Katy-Rose from Map Your Potential, and today I want to talk a little bit about setting goals, saying goodbye to 2018, and kind of how to move forward into 2019 in a way that will work for you. So I am going to leave a link in the description to an article called How to Run Your Own Annual Review, which is where a lot of the information that I'm going to be talking a little bit about has come from. But one of the difficulties I think people have at this time of year is they don't know where to start in the reviewing process. So the first place that I always think is helpful to start is with a bit of a review of the previous year. So talking a little bit about what happened this year, what were the highlights, what were the low points, what were the lessons you learned. So kind of that space to almost reflect back, as it were. It can be useful to think about naming the year after you've had it. So there is something called I think it's called the one word 365, about setting a theme or a one word affirmation for the year that you do at the beginning, and that's something that I have attempted on a good few years and found helpful. But there's also the process and the possibility of naming the year after you've had it. So if I look back at 2017, I call 2017 the year of tests. So I did a bit of a review and I went through the highlights, low points, the lessons, did an audit of how I felt about the different areas of my life. We'll come back to that in a minute. A big list of things that I want to happen or want to feel in the next year. So that was for 2018. And kind of charting the path, so then making plans for how I was going to make that happen. This year, I've then done it all again. And so in 2017, I chose the word create, and then I renamed the year at the end of the year of tests. In 2018, I chose the word trust, and at the end of the year, I've named it the year of applying lessons. We then have charting the path, so what are the plans for the future? We've got a big list here of things we want to achieve. And then things that people or things we need to connect with, things we need to let go of, and any new practices, any kind of things that we want to start. So you may have seen those kind of continue, start and stop lists. It's something along the same sort of lines. So I spent the 26th writing down my highlights, my lows, my lessons, and then went through an audit, and I actually compared my numbers. So the audit is between 1 and 5. So 5 is that you are fairly satisfied with that particular area, and a 1 is that you're unsatisfied. So health and fitness, friends and community, love and relationships, family, creativity and adventure, career, money and finances, and emotional well-being. So for me, 3 of those numbers went up and the rest stayed the same. So I didn't have any drops in the last year, which was new, which was nice. In terms of my big list, they recommend become blank. So I'd like to become blank in 2019. I'd like to contribute X, Y, Z in 2019. And I want to accomplish fill in the blank in 2019. So what would you like to contribute, become, or accomplish? So that's something that I found very helpful in terms of, well, how do I plan for the new year? Well, I'd like to become more confident, or I'd like to become stronger. I would like to accomplish a marathon. I would like to accomplish a finished book draft. I'd like to contribute to animal safety. I'd like to contribute to the local school down the road. I'd like to contribute to my niece's education and experience of the world. You can fill in the blanks with pretty much anything. I'd like to contribute to my art collection by buying more art supplies. You can kind of word it a little bit how you like, and it just gives you that extra little bit of a map to follow when you're thinking about planning for the next year. And then my list of goals for the upcoming year has focused on the areas of the audit. So as I say, this is an article on BetterHumans that talks about auditing your life, and it gives you the different categories: so health and fitness, friends and community, love and relationships, family, creativity and adventure, career, money and finances, and emotional well-being. So looking at those and looking particularly at the 3 that went up and the ones that stayed the same, I've chosen not to pick every area because I think that having 8 or 9 different areas to change is a lot for the new year. Maybe in 6 months' time I can do 3 now and 4 then, or 4 now and 4 then. We quite often set goals which are unachievable because we aim to be, at step 10 of 10 by the end of next year. Realistically, it's going to take 3 years to get there. Then we want to look at getting to step 3 or step 4 of 10 in the next year. So some of mine have already, and some of my habits are already built. So one of my ones for health is to work out 3 times a week. Now I have been working out 2 to 3 times a week since 2016. So that is a little stretch to get a little more committed, but it is not completely small out of the blue. I haven't gone from 0 to 3 times a week. In terms of friends and family, I decided I want to socialise once a month with friends. So that could be a Skype date, that could be a chat over WhatsApp, or it could be an outing. So yesterday I went for lunch with a friend, and that ticked off kind of socialising for December for me. It's not that I will only see people once a month, because I also saw family Christmas Day and things like that. But in terms of specifically meeting my needs around socialisation, I'm fairly introverted and kind of gain my energy from being by myself, then actually that works for me. Similarly, for love and relationships, I've got a date day once a month, which pretty much we've been doing since 2016. But again, it's something I want to make sure I don't lose sight of. It's something I don't want to let go of. It works for us. With creativity, for those who don't know, I write novels and short stories. And I have a draft that I had a beta reader last year give me feedback on. And in January, I want to get back onto that and finish that draft off across the year. For well-being, I want to start meditating once a week. So I tend to go through states and spells of 2 or 3 minutes meditation 2 or 3 times a week for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll have 3 or 4 weeks off. So I would like to just get an average of 1 meditation session a week, and it can be a 2-minute meditation once a week. For me, it's about showing up, starting to build that habit, really starting to make the mental space for it by giving it a 2-minute slot a week. If we have 168 hours a week to spend, then finding 2 minutes to sit with my phone and headphones and listen to, I use an app called Insight Timer, I'll link that down below, it's a free app, then really I'm not prioritising it, and actually I need to prioritise my well-being. So, and then my final goal for 2019 is reading 1 book a month, which I've set every year since 2010-ish. Like it's a reoccurring one for me, is to read at least 12 books. I'm slightly tweaking my theme on that. So this year I want to try, or this year in 2019 I want to finish the books I've started. So I've got plenty of books that I'm like 50% through, and then I've put them down and I've just not picked them back up after a year or so. So I want to go back to those and see if I can finish the ones that I'm already half finished with, because the chances are if I got to 50%, then they're books that I will want to finish, I will want the information, I will enjoy them. So those are my goals for 2019, and those are my sort of areas that I have decided to pick to work on, building on habits that I have learned over the last 1 or 2 years. So I think the important thing is that when you are looking at charting the path ahead, at planning things out, thinking about which areas you actually want to prioritise. So if you were to do a life audit between 1 and 5, where have things gone? Which ones are lower? Are they the ones you want to prioritise, or actually do you want to get your 4s to 5? So for me, I want to get my well-being to a 5, so that when my well-being is higher, things like socialising and love and relationships and friends and family and career will be that bit easier. So kind of looking forward, we want to come up with a big list, but then we want to cut it down to a smaller list that's realistic, that's accomplishable, that's possible of being accomplished, for lack of a better word. And then finally looking at the milestones. So how will you know when you have met your goals? So for me, 3 times a week, working out at the end of the month, I've got 12-ish. So knowing what your milestones are, reviewing them once a month, If there are new practices, keeping them fairly similar. So I'm going from working out 2 to 3 times a week to 3 times a week. So I'm doing a tiny step up. But by the end of the year, the amount of consistent exercise I'll have had over what I had last year will be huge. Thinking about connections. So what do you need to do to make those things happen? Do you need to connect with different people? Do you need to do things? So if you want to go back to school and learn something, then do you need to email the uni or the college or whatever? If you want to start your own business, do you need to join an entrepreneurial group or something? If you are looking for wellbeing tips, and if you are looking to sort of build your resilience and have more mental energy, then, do you want to subscribe to my email list to make sure you're getting my updates around how you can do that in a simple yet impactful way? And then things to give up. So are there any habits that you want to give up? So quite often people will want to give up sugar, look at their alcohol and caffeine consumption. Some people also want to give up watching TV for 4 hours a night. They want to cut it down to 3 hours a night, so they get that half an hour to do housework and 10 minutes to work on their thing, whatever it is, their passion project. And through designing 2019 based on the reflections of 2018, we can end up with a very simple yet effective map of where we go forward. I have a month spread, and I literally use colour coding to decide what I'm doing, where I'm doing it. So every time it's blue is where I work out. So that's my current workout schedule for December. It's all the blue boxes. The red boxes are where I've socialised, for example. Orange is where I've had there's been an event or something that I've wanted to keep track of. So I do not write pages and pages and pages of diary entries. I have 1 month spread. If you have any questions, tell me what you struggle with most about planning the next year. Do you feel overwhelmed by all the different things you should be doing? Or do you feel that you have failed last year on things, so you need to commit to doing those same things, even if maybe they're not the right things for you now? Leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed already, then please do so to make sure you get my future videos. If you have subscribed, thanks very much for being a subscriber. So do say hi in the comments and let me know kind of what you struggle with. And I will see you again in the new year.